Ayy, this ain't a drill. Only time I playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Sean McDermott. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo don't make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis.
40 Keys, how y'all doing?
Wow.
I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood right now. I'm really not.
That's where we starting already, huh?
I can't be jovial right now.
You can't be jovial?
Maybe at some point it will come, but
why, bro?
I'm still in the game.
What? Huh?
I'm still in the game.
You still in the game?
I'm still in the game.
What you mean?
I haven't given up yet. I haven't gotten over it yet.
Did something happen today?
I'm still on the game.
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
We're packing. We're at home. It's over with.
What's over with?
The season.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're not happy about the loss?
It shouldn't be over.
No, I agree with that.
The performance was subpar. It shouldn't be over. No, I mean you everything that could have went wrong pretty much did. A catch is not a catch is a catch. Who cares? 5 turnovers. Who cares? You know, Spencer Brown somebody's holding. Just execution was off. It was off from the jump. And I mean, we'll get into it, but it's up for the chat to make me feel better today.
It's up to the chat. All right. I mean, we'll, y'all know what y'all got to do now. Y'all got to make Keys feel a little bit better. I mean, to be honest, this was what everybody thought would happen, mostly because of the construct of our team, right? And honestly, it shouldn't have happened that way. I got to be honest. I was really ready to come in here and talk about the adjustments in the game, and I can't even really call them adjustments, but some of the calls by Sean McDermott in this game. But I guess that's kind of a moot point now, ain't it?
Yep. Moot point.
That's all I get is yep.
I mean, this is not a game I'd say the coaching really screwed up on. This is a game that execution was just off. It was off. I mean, there's not just one thing you can point to in this game and say that's what lost the game for him. This was not typical Buffalo Bills McDermott performance screwing us out of the playoffs fashion. This wasn't what we're used to.
I don't know if I can agree on that.
Well,
I don't know if I can agree on that.
There was no major gaffes that I can count to. I mean, I can point to the fumble of who was it, RJ Harvey or whoever the heck that was that we recovered, but Ogunjobi jumped off.
You want me to give you 2? I'll give you 2 right now.
No, let me finish. Let me land right quick.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking. You got 2. I got like 19 different players here that lend to execution, screwing everything up.
Well,
so,
we're talking about the gaffes from Sean McDermott. I just
right, and I'm saying that really doesn't matter much to me. But go ahead. What do you got? What are your 2 gaffes?
I mean, we can talk about what you want to talk about.
No. What are your gaffes? What are your gaffes? I'm gonna let you because I just be mumbling right now. I'll just be rambling. I gotta get into it. I gotta get into it right now.
Wow. It's been a long time since I've seen you this upset.
When I went and got Ken on Saturday night, I stood at the door waiting for him to get dressed and everything. And I just stood there and did my notes for the show while I was standing at the door waiting for him to get. I was just typing and I didn't have anything for it. And that was at midnight. The game was over at what, 7:30, 8 o'clock? Yesterday was dead. Today is not a good day.
Well, let me get out the way, bro.
Go ahead, man. I want to know what the 2 points are because I mean McDermott's gone, so what happened.
I think for me it comes down to this. Your coach. Part of the reason why he was let go has to do with the feeling of some of the players on the team, and we've known this for a while now that players have seen Sean get really tight in playoff games. And that was one of the things mentioned in this Denver Broncos game. And the other thing is, for me in particular, specific situational calls, like you got Dane Jackson coming out due to an injury, and he ends up in one-on-one coverage on a deep pass play. Why? Because in that particular situation, you're playing man. Now, if I'm a defensive head coach or if I'm a defensive coordinator and I know I got my third string corner going out there, I'm not leaving him on an island. I'm keeping the safety over the top of that guy. I'm going to protect as many people as I need to protect so that I don't get destroyed by one player on my defense. Then Darnell Savage comes out due to an injury. He gets destroyed. Like this was probably the fourth time in the playoffs that I've seen Sean get outcoached. Sean Payton came ready with a game plan. I think in the third quarter, it was very clear that Sean Payton understood what Sean McDermott was trying to do defensively and had adjustments for it. And then at the end of the game, when the referees really haven't called anything all game long, Sean Payton does what? He goes I think it's like 4 or 5 deep passes in the last 2 minutes of that game? All to do what? All for the specific purpose of we're going to take our shots deep, and worst case scenario, the worst case scenario is a drop. Best case scenario, pass interference or a catch. Right? So these are situational things that we don't get to see or hear from Sean McDermott because he don't think that way. He thinks in terms of, I want my defense on the field at the end of the game. I want to shut this team down, and we're going to win basically the same way that they won in Jacksonville. The problem with that is you have any kind of better coaching from Liam Cohen or any kind of better play from Trevor Lawrence, and you end up with the same result because they still passed. I mean, they still moved the ball fairly well in that game. Not as well as they have, during the regular season, but they still moved the ball. I mean, Parker Washington had over 100 yards. So what I'm landing on in all of this is Sean has been a good coach from a standpoint of building culture, establishing discipline, and all the things needed to stabilize a franchise. But what's needed in the playoffs is higher level thinking, not just the fundamentals, not just, trying to do the right thing and culture and trying to, win the right way and win with class and all. Like that's cute. But at the end of the day, if you're not coming away with rings, then you should have made adjustments to all of what you do by now. All of it. Because it just doesn't work. So those are the two instances. The Darnell Savage being singled out at the safety position as soon as he comes out. Dane Jackson being singled out as soon as he comes out. Like, you should have known after the first time they did it not to let that happen again. I mean, to me, that should be well known. I'll just put it that way.
I got one for you too.
Sure.
How many times at the end of halves or end of games have we had coaching issues where the players didn't execute, but it wasn't something that was stressed, had to go a certain way with the coaches? For example, with 13 seconds, obviously the squib kick, miscommunication, all that. Well, end of the first half, someone needs to tell Josh Allen, no matter what, you can't scramble on that play.
Yeah.
It's a pass or a throwaway.
Yep.
You cannot scramble because they're baiting you to do that.
I mean, I'm not going to hold that to the coach. That I'm not holding on coaches. You're an MVP quarterback. You make plays with your eyes closed, one hand tied behind your back. He's trying to make a play. It came out on the negative, but yeah, that right there, that was heartbreaking. It led to 3 points right away. I mean, you can pinpoint this, that, and third, but you got, like Spencer Brown said, you call what you want, but I was holding in his words, I was holding the piss out of people all game long. The pass interference they got away with on Cooks in the end zone, that Trey White didn't get away with on his. And T said, "Yeah, calm down." I said, "Nah, that's not like him. That's not normal. He's hurt. he knows the game's over at that point. The James Cook fumble, that was deflating. I mean, there were so many things in this game that were just deflating, and even through it all, the Bills should have won it, could have won it, and it's not because I'm here saying that Denver sucks and we're just clearing away the best team out there, but just the way the game flow was going, we were close in ways we shouldn't have been. It was almost like Denver was giving us the game. We just had to take advantage of the gifts that we were receiving. And we just didn't. We didn't do it, and that's what tears me about this. It has nothing to do with Lamar. It has nothing to do with Mahomes. It has nothing to do with anything else. It was the fact that I didn't get that feeling. I finally felt like not maybe the coaches, but I felt like the seniority on the team was going to pull us out. Now next week was when I would have been nervous. I didn't think this team was going to the Super Bowl. But I thought I wanted to see us one more time against the Patriots or Houston. I really wanted that game. So right now to sit here and everybody, reveling this and this, Denver can call in right now and talk all they want. I got nothing for them. I mean, you won. They won the game, and I didn't sit here on Friday telling you guys you definitely weren't going to win. I didn't sit here on Friday telling you guys that you had no business in the game. I just thought that if we lost, it was because we lost it ourselves. And like the record shows, 1-86 now, the team that loses the playoff turnover battle loses the game. And to the tune of 5 turnovers in one game. You to be down and lose by 3 is a remarkable feat in itself.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of why I don't really put much weight in that whole turnover battle, win thing. But we got a couple of super chats we got to get to here before we move on. Let's first and foremost, Albert, what's going on, my man? Says Clint is predicted for us, and we can't talk to him before February 8th, I think, meaning we can't get a top DC early. And don't forget O-line coach, LOL. We will absolutely get to that. I just want to take like 2 more minutes for the game conversation that we're having, because I feel like he needs to get a little bit of that out, just a little bit. And I want to touch on some of the stuff that I saw too. I don't think we didn't get a chance to talk about that because we didn't do a post game right after that. So I do want to kind of take a second to just get some of that stuff out. So bear with us. Next super chat is from Scott. What's going on, my man? Says guys actually would like your opinion on this. Do you think Brandon Beane should have been fired too? Now he's in charge of finding the new head coach and also got a promotion. I don't get it.
You don't want my opinion.
So I have an explanation for that I think might bring people some peace, including you. And I thought long and hard about this. Pause. But I think
you tried it.
I tried.
It worked. That was for Nady too.
Yeah, for sure. But okay, so let me say this about the game, and then we'll address these 2 questions here. Mm-hmm. I think when it comes to, for me, it's all about decision making, right? Because that's been the thing that we've seen hold Sean back in these games. He gets tight, and so does his decision making, right? Case in point for me is the bubble screen stuff. There's Sean is aware of the play calls all the time, right? And Mike Vrabel has even said sometimes when he was in Tennessee, he used to chime in a lot and say, "Hey, let's go big here, or let's go small here. Let's try to go over the top here." Like coaches do that kind of stuff on a play-to-play basis. So it is absolutely possible. I'll just say it like that. Maybe not guaranteed, but possible that Sean McDermott is saying to Joe Brady, "Hey, listen, we got to tighten it up here. Let's be careful. Let's be methodical. Let's take some time off the clock." Well, what does that mean from a play call standpoint? Because we don't have a ton of plays that our wide receivers can run, or a ton of run plays that our running back can run that were super effective in this game, where we can just afford to run them at any point in time and it'd be fine. Right. And on top of that, you're running the ball pretty much every first down the entire way down the field before the interception. Right. So for me, it's like I get the turnover talk and all that kind of stuff. And we should have lost that game because of the turnovers. But realistically, we didn't lose the game because of the turnovers. We lost the game because of the performance by the defense at the end of the game. Like, I think what frustrated me the most about what I was hearing after the game was, oh my God, the turnovers this and Josh played terrible that. At the end of the day, he gave us a chance to win, right? And we were able to tie it up because of the way that he played in the moments where we needed him to play his best. He got us down there. We kicked the field goal. We tied it up. Without Josh Allen doing that, we don't even go into overtime, right? Then the defense plays well. They go 3 and out in overtime, right? The interception is thrown, which I disagree with. I don't think it was an interception, but that's a debate for another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because
okay,
we'll talk about that.
Okay,
that might make me smile.
I'm with you. I'm with you. See,
I knew I was
gonna get there. I was gonna get there.
I'm going through it.
I'm gonna get you there, bro. I love you. I'm gonna get you there.
Yeah, I gotta get there.
All right. So after the interception call, the Broncos get the ball back. You know at that point that they are going to try to go and win the game. So your best bet as a defense is you run your zone blitz, because you got to blitz, you got to pressure Bo Nix, but you can't play man coverage as much as they were playing man coverage. And Sean Payton, I think in the third quarter, and what I meant by Sean Payton figured it out is Sean Payton started to run plays that he knew the Bills were going to call man coverage against. That's one of the ways that good offensive minds can dictate to a defense. And we really haven't seen that since Brian Daboll was here, to be perfectly honest. We haven't seen an offense that dictates to a defense. And we saw it in this Broncos game. We saw a great offensive mind say, hey, I know what they're going to do when we call this. Let's put them in that position. Then they motion Mims onto Dane Jackson, right? Like they're putting their guys in a position to have an advantageous matchup against the defensive player they know that their offensive player can beat, right? So these are the things as a defensive mind and as a decision maker for our team that I don't understand it. I don't understand how you miss that stuff. I don't understand how you don't find ways to fix those things in the playoffs. And let's be real. The playoffs cause these moments to stand out the most, but they still happen during the regular season all season long this year too, right? It wasn't like these guys were playing perfect defense the whole way. We saw a lot of this stuff happen. We had issues with this pass defense. That's why it was so surprising the latter half of the year that this defense improved the way it did in pass defense, enough to become the number one ranked pass defense, right? Now, some of that had to do with how much teams were running the ball on us, but still, you're left with this, loss of words and trying to understand how Sean is processing these things in real time. You know what I mean? And you eventually reach a conclusion of some of this has got to be too much for him. It just does, right? And I think Terry Pegula agreed that it's just too much for him to 9 years. It's never been done. 9 years, and they thought they were just going to keep kicking at the door. After 5 years, it's never been done. Head coach and quarterback combination has never won a Super Bowl after not doing it in the first 5 years of them being together. And we thought we were going to go an extra 4. Like, good job to Sean McDermott for selling that bag of goods to Terry Pegula.
You said kicking out the door. You put me back in that place again.
I'm sorry. Damn it.
You put me back in that place again.
I'm sorry, bro.
I mean,
all right.
You ever seen a movie, a horror movie where, they finally killed the villain, Jason, whatever, and then it cuts them as they're laying there lifeless, and as soon as right before it cuts to the credits, their eyes open or they twitch or something. Mm-hmm. That means the villain is not dead. We thought we killed him by getting rid of McDermott, but the villain is not dead. That villain just got promoted. Part of the villain just got promoted to president of player personnel, which is probably the worst thing you could do with this dude. Put him as the president of player personnel and GM. So now he answers nobody. He has final say in the players we get, the draft picks, all that stuff we do. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the issue. The problem.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was talking to myself. That's all right.
I don't think they can hear that.
No, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, you talking about Darnell Savage. You're talking about Dane Jackson. It wasn't just McDermott that brought those guys here. You're talking about Jordan Phillips, Shaq Lawson carousels, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyers, all these retreads that keep coming back. There's one person still in the office that's going to be like, oh, sentimental value. Is this a Doug Whaley exit for Brandon Beane and his GM-ship? Who knows? We know he's got another job.
Mm-hmm.
Do they bring in another GM? That's the question. Do they bring in somebody that knows how to be a GM previous to being in Buffalo? Brandon Beane's done okay with McDermott and whatever he asked him to do. He's done okay, but now there's a new sheriff in the AFC East.
Right.
We don't have 6 gimmies anymore. You got 4 and 2 you really got to work hard at.
Yeah.
And Miami, once they got a Cap Hill, my man asked me a couple of weeks ago, it was in my man's questions and all that. He has, how long before you got to worry about the Dolphins? When they get out of Cap Hill and figure out how to take the coaching seriously. That's when we got to worry about them. Now the Jets, whatever. But so we still, you're talking about a situation where you're going to really have to look over your shoulder and win games that are not gimmies anymore.
Yeah.
And so do we put enough chits in Brandon Beane to be able to come through and not have Sean McDermott tell him what to do? And what does that look like? If Sean McDermott told Brandon Beane what to do and he hasn't done it for himself yet, why do I feel confident he's going to be able to do it now that Josh Allen's in year 9?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get that. I get that. And I think so. We'll get to my explanation. Let's get to answer any super chats first. First one, Clint Kubiak. So here's the deal. When it comes to head coach, I don't, and I agree. This is the first time I've ever agreed with Sal Capaccio. I agree with him when he said the Bills are not going to fire a 9-year tenured head coach who got us to 2 AFC championships for a first-year head coach. I don't care where that guy's coming from. I don't care what he's done on any team. I don't think the Buffalo Bills and Terry Pegula are looking at this situation from a standpoint of let's get some fresh blood in here and just see if a new message will help. I think their mindset is, look, this guy is taking us as far as he can go, and I'm referring to Sean McDermott, and we want to try to keep as much continuity as we can going forward and try to just, continue to stay at the level of success that we're at, just maybe get a guy in here who knows how to operate in those high leverage situations better than McDermott, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what's this is gonna tickle your fancy here. So when it comes to Brandon Beane's situation, he's been placed into the president of football operations while still retaining the GM role. Okay. Based on what I've heard, and I'll just give you a small tidbit. So Terry Gray has been filling in assistant GM duties since before he got the title, right? Part of the reason he got that title, and I think there were other people that reported this too, was that he was actually getting offers from other teams to go and be, their GM, and the Bills wanted to keep him in-house because of his value, so they gave him the title. What I believe is going to happen now is Brandon Beane is retaining his title as GM until after the draft, or quite possibly the rest of this year, or the rest of the 2026 season. And then after that, the title will transfer to either Terry Gray or Brian Gaine. I just, president of football operations and GM has not been done before in the NFL to my recollection, right? I've never seen a guy hold both positions. It's either been president of football operations or GM, right? So I think this is a temporary thing for Brandon Beane, which will then transfer to a guy that we have in-house that the Bills really like and have done a lot of work to keep in-house in Terry Gray. So that's where I think that's going. Scott's question here, do you think Brandon Beane should have been fired too? Yeah, because and I know you like that. I know you like that answer.
That's all. You already know my answer, Scott.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think you wanted to just kind of get every little bit of funk and stench of the old message out as fast as you possibly can. The only reason I think Brandon Beane kept his job is if you look at what the position Terry Pegula would have been in had he fired Brandon Beane. Terry's in a position now where he's got no staff. He's got to first figure out who he wants to hire first. Do I hire a president of football operations like the Falcons did, and then find a GM and then hire a head coach? Do I after that? Who do I hire first? Do I hire the head coach first like I did with Sean? Do I hire a GM first and let them find the head coach? That's a lot to figure out in the next 4 months leading up to the draft, when you have to, at this point start finalizing a lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing at that point in time. Who you're going to scout, who you like, you like, all that stuff is getting put together now. So Terry Pegula looks at that situation and says, okay, who best suits my needs right now? I know Sean is not going to be here, right? But I also don't want to be stuck trying to, search for all of these positions over the, however long it takes to do it before the draft is up. So, and free agency too, because that comes before the draft. So I think Terry looked at it and said, okay, maybe Brandon Beane doesn't need to be the GM, but I need him to be the GM right now. So ultimately, I know I want him handling football operations. Let's give him both positions for now. He'll handle the job going into the draft, after the draft, and I'll decide at that point whether or not we want to move to Terry Gray or whether or not we want to, or whether Brandon Beane, we'll figure out if Brandon Beane wants to just right away give it to Terry Gray if he feels Terry Gray is ready, or if he wants to wait and kind of groom Terry Gray for a year and then have Terry Gray step into that position in 2027.
No grooming from Beane.
No grooming
from Beane. Just no.
It's fair. It's fair.
I mean, it whatever. Yeah. It's just the fact that Brandon Beane is coming and we don't know what he is. We don't know what he is in a football organization. We've never seen him do anything in a football organization. Because I don't want people now to come out and defend him saying he did this, that, and third when you blame McDermott for all the decision before. That's the thing about it. Before it was always McDermott. Beane just listened, this, that, and third. So we don't know what Beane is. We just know what Beane was under McDermott. So I'm scared of what Brandon Beane as a man is. I don't know what he is, and nobody in the NFL does, because he's never done anything, of that magnitude in the league.
Yeah.
Terry Gray, he already has the scouting acumen. He already has the eye for this. So I don't want you to groom him to do anything.
No, okay. So
not what you're saying. What I'm saying is I don't want you to show me the ropes when I have this side. You got Overdorf still with the money side. I got this side. You do that. And then we'll go with this.
Technically, that still falls under GM. So president of football operations is overseeing a lot of stuff outside of the team as well. I was talking to Coach D about this earlier. That deals with how the team travels, how they, the food on the trip, all that's all of the ancillary stuff around that too. What president of football operations will handle.
Player operations. Okay, good. At least, I mean, that makes sense. That's more his wheelhouse. But see, in that, do that. I don't want you to show. I don't want you to give Terry Gray any of your notes.
No.
Don't do that.
I think it would just be this is who you contact for this. This is who you know what I'm saying? Nothing dealing with scouting, because obviously Brandon Beane don't know much about that aside from what he's learned from Terry Gray and the scouts.
Right.
But I think it would just be, this is, this guy on this team likes to be talked to this way, a lot of the insider relational stuff that he's developed with with other GMs and other, you know what I'm saying, and kind of just giving that all to Terry Gray in however long he, and again, I mean, this is speculation based off of some of the stuff that I've heard so far, but I think it's the most viable option.
Buffalo Buddha, I would love to. You said Beane won't be here long. Chill. Terry Gray will be there.
Yeah,
I'm trying to chill. I'm trying, Buffalo Buddha.
I believe that. I believe that strongly. That is what's coming. Is that Brandon Beane is going to step into the shadows as president of football operations and will be.
That's more his wheelhouse. Yeah. I really don't want Brandon Beane really hiring a coach. I would like to have one of those deals like Matt Ryan when they did, and who was that that brought Matt Ryan in to be a consultant in the
well, he's president of football operations now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think he was
for
going to be
Atlanta.
permanent. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would love to have a situation where they bring somebody in from the outside, a consultant, if you will, to help hire the next head coach, because you got Rex Ryan and Sean McDermott out of Terry Pagula.
Well, the big news of
Yes.
the day, and I think you'll like this. I've been hearing earlier today that Dayball is the favorite in the building right now.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love. Now, this is gonna make you smile. Okay. Kevin Stefanski took the job in Atlanta, and he kept their defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, there. Do you know who that leaves open?
No.
Jim Schwartz.
Schwartz is available to be the DC. Would you take Brian Daboll and Jim Schwartz as your offensive and defensive minds for the Buffalo Bills in 2026?
Head coach or OC?
Brian Daboll's your head coach. Jim Schwartz is your DC.
Jim Schwartz, no brainer. Brian Daboll's head coach. I mean, over the inverse, over the other alternatives, yes, I would take him. But Jim Schwartz definitely. And Daboll, yeah, I would love to see Daboll back with Josh Allen. I'd love to see Daboll with James Cook. I'd love to see Daboll with whatever receiver he's going to bring in, because we finally have him. I mean, this is bittersweet to me because with McDermott gone, that opens up my hope for the draft. That opens up my hope for free agency. That opens up for the football team that I want to see.
Yeah.
When I talk to my friends, and even not you, because you know where I come from, but when I talk to my friends and even Discord, and I say I veto this, I veto that, you're a buzzkill, you're cheap. It's not that. It's just, I know, one, we don't have the money for it, and two, it's not going to fly in this regime.
Yeah.
And with Bean still being here, that's like that twitch, that eye that opens in the movie. Like, is that regime really gone, or is it going to rear its ugly head again? That it's in the back of my head, and I need to see a draft. I need to see the head coach they pick first. Then I need to see the coordinators they pull. But yeah, to your point, if I had Schwartz with the defense that he ran in Buffalo before, and I had Daboll with Allen throwing for 45 yards, whatever it was. Yeah, give me that.
So I just kind of, before we get to the super chat, Scott, give me 1 second. I just kind of wanted to offer why my reasoning as to why I think this is the best possible move for the Bills. Because first and foremost, Daboll's had an opportunity to learn from his mistakes in New York, right? I think so much of what went on in New York was kind of spoiled at the very beginning from with Daboll being forced to keep Daniel Jones longer than he wanted, right? I think that soiled a lot of his reputation after they made the playoffs, right? Because we got to keep in mind, he took that team that had nobody at receiver. His best receiver was Isaiah Hodgins in that playoff game, right? He took them to the playoffs when they had no business being there with Daniel Jones, right? So my reasoning behind Daboll being the best option here is his experience, his relationship with Josh Allen, and his relationship with Terry Pagula, right? If you read the Tyler Dunn report, you would know that Brian Daboll and Terry Pagula are like father and son. That was in the report. Like, they are that close, and that was one of the reasons why Sean was starting to create issues between himself and Brian Daboll. He did not like seeing their relationship being that close and was actually jealous. That's in the report. You can go read it. Now, the benefits of having Brian Daboll here, though, is you change the scheme to something that fits what a lot of these players, or wide receivers, I should say, would benefit from being asked to do, right? You can put Shakir on the outside and ask him to sold. On top of that, you can put Coleman inside as a big slot.
Ooh.
Right? Listen, even in Dayball's system, Keon Coleman could even be an outside receiver because of the routes that he would be asked to run.
Gabe Davis.
When you're running post routes and you're running 20-yard digs and stuff like that, like, Coleman can do that stuff.
Yeah, we've seen Gabe Davis do it. So,
right,
yeah.
Right. So it's not unheard of to think that Keon Coleman can be saved by Brian Daboll. Now, we don't need that to happen, but it's going to take care of your biggest concern, which is, what money do we have next season? If you can put these wide receivers in a system where you don't got to get rid of nobody, all you got to do is use them the right way, and now you're benefiting like hand over fist from that without having to spend a dime to improve your offense, I'll take it all day long, right? the other part of that is, if we were able to bring Jim Schwartz in here, you're talking about putting Greg Rousseau at a wide 9 spot? Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I'll take a whole a heaping helping of that.
Right? Because what do you have after that? Well, you got Ed Oliver and you got Deion Walker in the middle, applying pressure from the middle.
Michael Hoyt will be back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So much of what this team needs to improve, it would be solved by scheme. I would say scheme, and then obviously, coaching up and situational coaching and all that kind of stuff. But the scheme change fixes a lot of the issues that we've had with performance of these players, right? And that's before you even get to free agency and the draft and taking care of the safety position that you're going to need to next year and taking care of the linebacker position if you don't have enough money to keep Shaq Thompson or you just decide not to. You got to fill that middle linebacker spot.
We're not keeping him.
Okay. Listen.
No, I'm saying you heard what he said, right?
No.
He loved being here. He's a second, third, but he said, I'm going where I'm going to be a starter. I know I'm a starter in the league, and I'm a starter, and I want to get paid starter money, basically. So,
wow.
Yeah, so he's not going to be here anymore.
Okay. I mean, be that as it may.
He might follow McDermott.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Let them follow him over to Pittsburgh. They can have Pittsburgh can have McDermott. They can have
crazy.
Him. I think that would be the best fit.
Then he can hire his boy as a consultant that slides back in as defensive coordinator.
Talking
whatever.
to Tomlin all day long. Yeah. Yep. All right, let's get to the super chat here. Got him smiling already. It's working. All right, here we go. Scott says, I just wish Brandon Beane would be more aggressive in the draft to get that it factor player we need for Josh Allen, especially at wide receiver. I think that depends on the coach.
I don't care if it's for Josh Allen or not. This is not hate speak. This is me in my mind. We're talking about Schwartz. We're talking about a new coach. This is what gets me excited. Do I get the defense I want? The defense I finally have been talking about forever. Do I get the edge rusher that actually is an edge rusher? Do I get? Is there a snow day? Do I get? The linebacker that can run through a block? Do I get somebody that's feared? Do I get to see some people trash talking? Do I get to see somebody with attitudes, some moxie? Do I get to see personalities out there? That's the defense I want to see. I don't want to see this soft stuff anymore. And like you said, this Landon Jackson role where it's a crasher and not an edge rusher. I don't have a purpose for two crashers. I don't have a purpose for underweight defensive tackles when there's an underweight linebacker behind them. Now it's different. Hopefully, when T came and told me this morning, breaking news, McDermott got fired. I'm like, oh, what'd you say? Who? And I'm like, all right.
When's the other guy going?
But then the biggest thought in my head, I'm like, ooh, okay, so who's available? Because I'm not like you guys. I don't know, or you guys at home that's putting Kubiak and this, that. I was going to ask about Kubiak in a minute because I don't know anything about him. I want somebody to tell me. But I know he's an offensive coordinator. That's all I got. But I'm looking at this, and I'm a defensive guy. I love defense. I love defense. And for the last 9 years, I've not loved defense. I've not loved seeing Max Harrison backing off 7 yards, 10 yards, whatever yards. I've not loved seeing Trey White and Christian Benford and who enter name here doing the same carbon copy-ish that we've seen everybody else do. Levi Wallace. They're the same guy, basically.
Yeah.
So now you got Max Harrison. I want to see him get burned, but make a break on the ball and intercept for a pick six.
Right.
I want to see that safety that makes the beat on the play and just snatches out thin air. I want to see that defensive end that's bending knee on the ground around the edge and gets to the quarterback. I want to see that. We see it every time we play somebody else. When do we get to have it? When do we get to see a sack? He gonna meet him at the quarterback. We don't get that. Yeah. And I'm finally at the point where I don't want to get my hopes up, but I want that so bad.
Yeah, I'm with you. We got a couple of super chats here. First one is from Billy D. Says, with McD out, can Beane be better in the draft? Is it possible? I think it's possible. Part of my theory has always been, maybe Sean is not picking the players themselves. Maybe he's not handing the card in or anything like that. But as a GM that came in being as close to Beane as he was, and their camaraderie coming from Carolina and all that kind of stuff, I think Beane was of the mindset, I'm going to give my head coach what he's asking for. And if he's asking for guys that fit this specific culture or have this specific mindset or these sets of skills, I'm going to go get that from my guy.
Well, I like what you just said, because that is the answer when you said, I'm going to get what my coach asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Bean will only be better if the coach asks for better tools.
That's why I said it.
Yes.
It's not.
It's not that Bean was handcuffed. Bean was doing the job he was supposed to do, was get the tools that the coach told him to get.
Yeah.
And that's where my whole spaghetti sauce analogy came from. If he's not vague and say, I want this player, I want this type of player, and you give him what you think is that type of player, it doesn't work. But if you get, we'll just say Clint Kubiak, because I don't know, everybody is poo-pooing on Brandon Bean or on Dayball. So we'll say Clint Kubiak. He says, I want you to go get me I don't know, Casey Concepcion, I'll say, or somebody else, wide receiver. And it's a specific name, and he's on the board. Okay, he's getting close. We got to trade up. That's where Bean can show me his acumen. That's where you can say, okay, you know what? I was handcuffed. I was a little more conservative, but I really like to move. You like to talk about I like the wheel and deal. They got to stop me, but we ain't never seen you wheel and deal nothing of significance.
Right.
You wheel and deal for. I mean, let's kick it to you like this. I know we drafted Max Harrison, but we also traded up 14 picks to get TJ Sanders.
Yeah.
But we could have stayed where we were and still got your boy at cornerback, and Dane Jackson wouldn't have been an issue. If Dorian Strong would have been hurt or been healthy, Dane Jackson would be an issue. But Will Johnson, Max Harrison, have all three of them. Any combination of three cornerbacks. Yeah. But instead, you decided, you know what? I'm going to sell out and just go get Dane Jackson and Darnell Savage. We could have went and got Derek Forrest or whatever the guy's name was that we had before. They played around with Elijah Moore. They play these silly games and they get burned. And I'm ready to move on to the next phase of Buffalo.
Yep. As it stands right now, I'm sorry. Actually, I got to get to Jack's super chat here really quick. Says, is this a Kevin Adams situation? I sure as heck hope so. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you mean, we get rid of the guy who was kind of influencing the most of what happens in the building.
No, I think what he means by Kevin Adams, I think, Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin Adams was bad, but he got a lot of coaches under him fired while keeping his job. Kevin Adams was always bad, but he went through about 3 or 4 coaches before he finally got fired.
Oh, are we entering a Kevin Adams situation where Brandon Bean gets capped and a bunch of coaches? I can't see that happening. Again, my theory is, and I believe strongly in this based off of things that I've been hearing. I think Brandon Bean is filling in right now as GM to kind of groom one of the two guys that we have, Brian Gaine or Terry Gray. I believe it's going to be Terry Gray, but no, I think you got to look at it like this. Terry Pegula wasn't about to just completely clean house and start from scratch. Not with the players that he has on the team right now, and for sure, not with Josh Allen going into year 30 of his life. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't have enough time to be starting from scratch like that and bringing a new GM in here with a new coach that's going to want to just completely turn things around. Again, this is why I think bringing Brian Daboll back is such a big deal too, because a lot of the players they have are still very familiar with that system. A lot of the players we have are still here offensively, right? Mm-hmm. So. And I mean from a starter standpoint, like the Brandon Cooks wasn't here, but Gabe Davis was here. I think Cook was here Dayball's last year, if I'm not mistaken. What, right?
I'm sorry, who's last year?
James Cook was here Dayball's last year. Yeah. So he's familiar with that system. Both of your starting tackles are familiar with that system. Your guard center guard combo is not. And then I think Dawson Knox knows the system very well. Kincaid wasn't here for it.
He pick it up. He'd be finding that. He'd be great in that system, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, I think that's why, when I heard that Brian Daboll is the favorite inside the building right now, and the other part of this too is when you as an owner knew watching Daboll walk out the door, and because this is one of the other things I heard too. Everybody in that building was like mad to see Daboll leave, except Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott was the only person in that building that was fine with Daboll leaving.
Even Bean?
Even Bean.
No, you're not gonna make me like him. You're not gonna make me like him.
So no, I'm serious.
I'm serious too. You're not gonna make me like Bean.
The way it was told to me, everybody except Sean McDermott was mad to see Daboll go. So that means the relationship between Daboll and Bean would be great. The relationship between Daboll and Terry Pegula would be great. The relationship between it must be about to be a snow day. I just got the call too.
Okay.
The relationship between Daboll and Josh Allen would be awesome, right? So how could you go wrong? Here's what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the salary cap implications.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right now in 2026, the Bills are $11 million in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
We are over the cap by $11,605,834. All right. On offense, we spent $179,786,059. Of that $179 million, 56 goes to Josh Allen. Or I'm sorry, no, last year. So we're talking about 2025. That was 36. I'm sorry. 36 million of that 179 was spent on offense. On defense, 120 million. I mean, the amount of money that you spent on defense with everything that you have on offense, you would think that the defensive number was smaller based on the way the defense was playing. You would think we got a lot of bargain guys. It's just as much, if not more, than what the Bills are going to be spending going into the 2026-2027 season. And it's been that way every year.
Yeah.
Every year. If you take Josh Allen's salary away from the offense, the defense ends up getting more money than the offensive players do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this is how it's been under Sean McDermott. And for a team to operate like that and give up 30 points in a playoff game in Denver to Bo Nix on a broken ankle, like that's part of the reason why I said if Sean doesn't get this team to a Super Bowl this year, he should be fired.
Yeah, I mean, that'd been fine. To Lot Range's point, Bean came in at dead money, so you can't flee. Yes, I can. When the first thing they did when they came in, they had not a lot of money, but they got rid of Marcel Darius, Sammy Watkins. Then they got rid of
Marcel Darius.
They got what's the cornerback's name?
Ronald Darby.
Yep. They got and I mean they just kept
roster surgery.
Bradham. They got rid of a lot of guys that Bradham actually would have been a great linebacker for him at the time. He would have been he was coming to his own.
He fit the system well.
Yeah, and Darby would have been a great cornerback for us. But
especially with all this man coverage we've been playing in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean,
Darby's not what he couldn't catch. He just knocked everything down. Like I think he led the nation in pass breakups this year or something like that. So,
but he wasn't a culture guy.
Wasn't a culture guy. He's too short or something. I don't know. But but the thing about this whole deal is, if you can, he came into what they call roster surgery, where they created a lot of dead money. Now we have no money on top of dead money that he created. Whether it's with Bean, with McDermott, whether it's not, he was something that he was a part of, and they made it. They created a big chasm for everything that the football team is going through for the next 2 years. Brian Flores. Well, okay, so indulge me here, and it's not.
Okay.
I'm seeing Brian Flores. Go ahead, read it.
All right, yeah, I got.
Before we get to that, can I circle back real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before we get too far. The whole Kevin Adams take.
Okay.
I have been hearing that a lot today.
Really?
And I just want to push back on that a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think people have not been paying attention to the Sabres that much until Kevin Adams was let go. And they don't realize, although Kevin Adams had a lot of flaws, one thing that he did well was he brought in a lot of really good prospects. And we still have money on the cap right now. They didn't spend to the cap under Kevin Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not a even comparison when you're talking about Kevin Adams, because although his biggest flaw was not making the moves that the team needed at the time, we have a lot of talent coming up and a lot of money to spend. So it's not the worst situation that Yarmo was stepping into.
Yeah, I think we're actually right now, don't they have like the the Sabres are one of the on the lower side of what they're usually carrying in cap space,
Right.
and they still got plenty of money, and that's a credit to Kevin Adams. Yeah, you're right.
And we have a ton of prospects that we can use as trade capital now. So
yeah. And that's what I wanted the Bills to do. If you can't get them to work in your system, identify it and move on. Don't hold on to everybody forever like they've been doing in Buffalo in Bills land. You got to evaluate and move on, because everybody with Tremaine Edmonds. Oh, he's young. I think he's like, what's he now, 27 or something like that, 9 years into the league, and like he's young. When is young not young? When is that dead? And I think the Buffalo Bills need to find somebody that doesn't have as much patience. You don't want anybody with a hairpin trigger, but you want somebody that's not going to try to see the good in somebody for years on end while everything's passing you by.
Right. Let's hit this super chat real quick, and then I want to get to another comment here. And Welly says, ding dong, the witch is dead. Still brokenhearted from the loss, but today's news is fine tonic. Go Bills. Yeah, I mean, look, for those people who were screaming, well, who are you going to hire if you fire Sean McDermott? We're going to find out. And so I was talking to Coach D about this after the Broncos game. And I think we had this conversation yesterday, which I think is a very, very important way to look at this. The way Sean McDermott has been coaching since Daboll left, he's been trying to do the best job he can to rein Josh Allen in. Right? I think we can all agree on that. Now, this is a quarterback who has done some amazing things in this league and is widely regarded as the most talented, if not the best quarterback in the world right now. Right? Now, let's think about that for a second. Your head coach wants to take a quarterback that can do all that that Josh can do and dial it back. Let's play this West Coast style offense. Let's put him under center, knowing he doesn't like playing under center. Let's run a bunch of play action, knowing Josh doesn't like to turn his back to the defense. Like, let's do all these things that Josh Allen doesn't like to do and didn't do a lot of in college. Let's do all that stuff. Why? It's better for Josh. No, let's not try to justify it as it's better for Josh. It's better for Sean is what it really boiled down to, right? I'm going to bring this up again. When Sean McDermott was asked after the Panthers game when they won 40-3 or whatever it was, is this the style of football you like to see? Sean's answer was yes. Josh Allen had a terrible game, and Sean still said yes. He had a perfect opportunity right then and there to say, well, I mean, Josh could have had a better game, or we could have had more production in the passing game. He could have said a number of different ways. We would have liked to have been, even on both sides of the ball, or just as productive on both sides of the ball, because we want to be a balanced attack. But no, he didn't say any of that. He smiled and he said one word: yes. So that's the way he wants to win games. He wants to run the ball down the defense's throat, pause, and he wants to play great defense. He wants his defense to score and shut the offense down and not allow all of that. That's the style of football he wanted to see. Right? The issue with that is contradictory to the franchise quarterback you have. And if you can't see that as a head coach, if you can't understand that, hey, maybe the way I want to win isn't working for my quarterback, well, that's not a quarterback problem. That's a coaching problem. Because Mike Tomlin told you, if you're blaming anything on the players, then that just means you don't want to do your job as a coach. Is basically how he said it. I'm paraphrasing. Right? So it's perfectly understandable for Sean McDermott to be gone. I heard all day long how pissed off people were about firing Sean McDermott. This is a guy that got us out the drought. Wrong. He didn't do that. The Bengals did that. Next question. Well, this is a guy that cleaned up this franchise. Maybe. Yeah, or maybe it could be that we got a franchise quarterback for the first time since Jim Kelly.
Well, you got to look at what I said earlier. The other three teams kind of get to the 6 games out of the gate for 5 years straight. There were 6 games that you can mark off your calendar right away. After that, you had to win another. Actually, you had to win none because you won your division. You're guaranteed if you win the division. The division gave themselves to you. You could have been 7-9 for all you. You could have went 1-9 the rest of the way and still made the way the landscape was. So, what McDermott did, yeah, it happened. I'll say it happened. We witnessed it, and we're moving forward now. If we're going into a drought, we were already in a drought. The drought was a Super Bowl drought. We've been to the Super Bowl in over 30 years, 31 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So we still were in a drought. If you're talking about a winning culture, I don't care about culture just because of culture. A winning culture is a culture that, oh man, those boys coming again. It might happen again. You can't say that about both. Josh Allen, yeah. James Cook, yeah. Never mind defense, but those two players, yeah. Or Keon Coleman's a bum, this and third. That's all they can talk about. They can't say anything about the team as a collective as being scary. Nobody's afraid of Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. They might be worried about playing Josh Allen or James Cook, but outside of that, they're like, everybody eats, I guess. I don't know.
Right. I just saw Laura's comment here. I want to respond to that real quick. She says, yeah, but playing out of the shotgun all the time is not realistic. Reining in this turnovers was not bad. In fact, it got us to a championship. It's not so simple. Okay. Let's approach it this way. Josh Allen's biggest production and what got him the reputation that he got was when he was playing under Brian Daboll and he was slinging the ball all over the yard.
2020, yeah.
Right? That's when people started to realize the Bills got a franchise quarterback.
That's when every analyst had to completely 180.
Correct. Because they thought he was a bust.
People like Nick Wright, who were always flaming him, all of a sudden were scared of him.
Yep. Now, since that point, how have we talked about Josh? Well, Josh's numbers are down, but he's still doing some amazing things in spite of the talent around him. He won an MVP off of that argument alone. Well, look at what he's got around him, right? If I'm not mistaken, part of the reason people were so upset about that MVP win by Josh Allen was because, well, look at the numbers that Lamar Jackson put up that season, right? The name of the game here is production. Right? It's not limiting mistakes. Brett Favre is still known as an all-time great and won a Super Bowl. The man was throwing for damn near 20 interceptions every season. Because at the end of the day, as we saw in the Broncos game, you can still put your team in a position to win with 5 turnovers. So it's really not about the turnovers, right? I think we can all agree if that pass to Cooks had been called a catch, we win that game. Sean McDermott said, if that was a catch, we kick the field goal, we win the game. He said it. So I think it's very clear that turnovers don't completely destroy a team's chances of winning if you have a quarterback like Josh Allen. The truth of the matter is, we do have a quarterback like Josh Allen. So this mentality of, well, dial him back because he's throwing too many interceptions, were we winning those games? More important than all of this is Josh's performance in the playoffs before this Broncos game. Because to be honest, he's even with his performance in this Broncos game, his numbers are not falling that far from still being the best playoff quarterback of all time in terms of numbers, touchdown to interception ratio. He's still top 3 right now. Even with the 4 turnovers, still top 3. So when it comes to the turnovers, if your quarterback is shown consistently, well, come playoff time when the stakes are at their highest, if I got boys around me, I'm not going to give the ball away. When he had Diggs and he had Cole Beasley and he had John Brown, or when he had Emmanuel Sanders, or when he had Gabe Davis playing in Dayball's system, which is what he was drafted to play in, when he had those boys around him, he wasn't throwing that many interceptions. But when you go into a game against the number 2 defense in the league with guys playing out of position, guys not being used right, throwing 5, I think they threw 5 bubble screens and only one of them worked, running the ball on every first down, being as predictable as could possibly be on offense and defense. You want to put that on Josh? No, man, miss me with all of that. You can't have it both ways. You can't have a franchise quarterback that can throw for 4,500 yards in a season, but say, well, I don't want you to do the things that lead you to throw for 4,500 yards because there's a higher chance that you might throw for 15 interceptions. Like, part of the reason Tom Brady didn't throw a ton of interceptions is because he played in a system that was specifically designed for him. He played in a West Coast style system, but in that West Coast style system, he had Rob Gronkowski, number 1 target, dominant, nobody could guard him. He had a number 2 target that was unstoppable when used correctly, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker before that, Deion Branch before that. You still got to put people around these quarterbacks. That's really the bottom line to all of this. Dorothy says Big Baller Bean is trash. Okay.
I'm gonna start calling him Brandon Bernard Bean. That's what I'm gonna start calling him. Because I'm never saying that what you just said. Brandon, those 3 triple B. Brandon Bernard Bean.
Oh yeah, thank you, Mike. Randy Moss. They gave him Randy Moss, and what did he do with Randy Moss? He went undefeated that season.
Yeah, 50 touchdowns.
Right? It took the greatest playoff quarterback of all time, Eli Manning, coming in and beating him in order to stop that undefeated season.
Not listening. Not listening. I don't hear none of that nonsense you just said. The greatest. I just hung up on you. The great. I just hung up right there.
Speaking of hanging up, let's do this right now. It's 6:30. We got an hour left. Our call-in line is up. We're gonna try to work through the kinks of all this. Did you send me the link, Dan, so I can post that? Did we post that?
I put it in the comments in the very beginning, but it never got pinned.
Okay, so do me a favor. Do you still have my email? Can you?
Yeah.
All right, email that to me, and then I'll pin it in the chat here. That way, everybody can get access to it. All you got to do is click the link that takes you into a room where you can you explain that, Dan? I need to.
Yeah. So if you click the link, there'll be a little pop up, and it'll say 2 options. You're gonna click the create or join with video or join with the camera or something like that, and then you can just disable your camera, choose your microphone, and click start, and you'll go into a queue. And then when Aramis is ready, he'll bring you in.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so let me know when you send that, and then I'll put that in the chat, and then you guys call in and let's hear it. Let's hear what you got. If you want to vent, if you want to, ask a question, whatever, we're here for it. And we're gonna start making this available pretty much every show, unless we have some technical issues or something like that. But have at it. Can't wait to hear you guys. Okay, so back to the Brandon Beane situation. So I think where this leaves everybody is we have to kind of just wait and see who he hires, right? Because I think that's going to determine what we're going to see in terms of moves on the team and all that kind of stuff. And I know that's not really saying anything amazing, but I kind of don't want to get so caught up on, why didn't Brandon Beane get fired and this and that and the other, because again, my thought process is he's just here to fill an oversight role while they groom the next GM and while they work through this free agency season and draft season and all that kind of stuff. I wholeheartedly believe that Brandon Beane is not staying on as the forever GM until he gets fired and just doing both jobs. I've never seen anybody do that. If anybody has seen that happen, please throw it in the chat so that I can know I don't have an issue being wrong, but I've just never seen that in my 41 years of watching football. With that being said, head coach, is there anybody else at head coach? And I know you don't know a ton of people, you know a few people, but is there anybody else that like kind of tickles your fancy that you would like to see come in here, and what do you think they would bring with them?
I was not prepared for this at all. Not the conversation. I wasn't prepared for him to be fired. I was more in tune to like, okay, who's the offensive coordinator? Because Brady's gone. Who's because and now I'm like, because at first the fear of mine is what they said in the beginning, Harbaugh. And remember they said Harbaugh is waiting for the Bills and the Rams job to open up. The Bills job opened up. So the Harbaugh, is that something that we want? Not me. he's a guy that employed Greg Roman. He's a guy that employed, just snooze factors and finally got an offensive coordinator who made Lamar look interesting, and then he just loses it all. So I don't think he's innovative enough. I really want to know about this Clint Kubiak guy, what people are saying about him. No, I don't want Davis Webb.
Let's get to that. Steve Lynn writes in. What else, Steve? Says, go big, hire Davis Webb. Happy Fire McDermott Day. Let's see. FMD. Yeah, we can call it FMD. FMD? Yeah, McDermott. Yeah, FMD. All right. Happy FMD. FMD Day? Yeah, FMD Day. Let's do it like that. Happy FMD Day. Davis Webb hasn't called plays. He's just the pass game. Coach. Yeah, he's a pass game specialist for the Broncos. I guess I don't really understand the hype around Davis Webb. I mean, if you haven't even done a coordinator job, I don't think I want you as a head coach.
But we have a GM. Never mind.
Yeah, no, say it. Say
it. we have a GM with the same resume you just listed out. But yeah, I mean, Davis Webb was great friends with Josh Allen. They bounced ideas off each other. Davis Webb was a great mind. I guess Davis Webb could be an offensive coordinator, but head coach, no, I don't want him as a head coach.
Yeah, you know what? I think if you brought Dable here, you could easily get Davis Webb as your offensive coordinator.
If you brought Dable here and Josh is here, Davis Webb is a moot point. He really is.
Still.
No, I know. What I'm saying is he's a moot point because you could bring him. He could suck, but he wouldn't suck with those two,
right?
Because one, Josh, like, no, we're not doing that. Dable, talk to your boy. Talk to him. I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not. Haley, come on.
Yeah.
Talk to him. But yeah, I think if you have Dayball, the line of communication from Dayball to Josh would almost be unfair to any OC that comes into Buffalo. Because they have a 1- and you'll see a joy in Josh you haven't seen in a long time. Everybody thinks Josh is this fun guy, and I'm like, he's mad boring. But if you watched back then, he had a little bit more moxie to him. But you got to have somebody that makes him do this stuff. James Cook is not the one. As boring as James Cook is, he's not the one. Keon Coleman doesn't talk, so he's not going to be the one, and he might not be here next year. Who knows? I actually put in my notes after the game. Nobody outside of Josh Allen has to be here next year. There's nobody on this team that needs to be here besides Josh. And the reason why I say Josh is because point blank period, the man has the highest cap hit. You get rid of him, even in a trade, you neuter your team completely. So yeah, you're not gonna get rid of him. But everybody else, there's no saving anything. I mean, I know the field, all the fields of Trey White, all the fields of. But guess what? There's no coach that has any. Well, right now, there's no coach that has any ties to them. Another thing I'm worried about is Joe Brady being elevated. I'm worried about that. I know he's getting these interviews elsewhere, but
you're talking about being elevated here.
Here.
Oh God, no, please.
That no. I'm worried about that too. See, that's one of the things that the Brendan Bean thing. It scares me because the villain, he twitched. I don't know.
Boy, you are scarred by this guy.
But the thing is, it's not even. No, we're not both for 4 years. We have both for this year, and then that's it. And he has a void year. But no, that's the thing that scared me the most is the elevation process. They always look inside. And was it McDermott? I just even I'm gonna do this is a disservice. We have 130 people watching, and I keep calling him Tommy. I'm gonna say Mafia Sports Report because that's his podcast. Mafia Sports Report. And he shouts us out all the time, and I always say Tommy. And they're like, who knows Tommy? Mafia Sports Report. Go check it out. I don't know if he's doing a show because the team is playing.
No, he is tonight. Yeah.
Oh, that's dedication. Now you're really getting one. Yeah. Because your team is playing in 40 minutes. But yeah, that's why I had to throw it up. but and we've seen. I just need to see. I need to be proven. And am I wrong at this point after almost 10 years of seeing the same thing? This guy, he represents a nightmare. People say McDermott, but it just represents a nightmare for me. And I just need to see that Bean is different. I need to see that Bean was truly handcuffed. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt until I'm proven right or wrong to do whatever he's going to do. I'm just scared right now because of what happened on Saturday. McDermott being fired today, I had no feelings, no emotion towards it because I just didn't care. we lost, and that's all I cared about. I'm still there. But yeah, I think that really scares me. No problem, Tom. Mafia Sports Report.
You call him Tommy? It don't matter.
I want to say
people to know who it is.
So you know, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I just really I'm interested in, do I get my defense finally? I think for me, I want that lights out defense more than I want a receiver. I know it's wrong, but I want to see firework. I want to see somebody lay the lumber on somebody. I want to see somebody just take to the crib. I just want to see arrogance on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hopeful. And I want to see better vignettes from the Bills. I want to see better vignettes. They're corny.
Vignettes?
Yeah, the little videos they do on YouTube, the team stuff where they're making jokes, but it never lands. Then you see like the Patriots doing their thing, and they're like being them, and the Giants being them, and other teams.
So you're saying our PR team needs a little
oomph.
Yo, that's real.
They need to get in touch with a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad.
I wanted to address this question here from Walter. Says, is hiring Dayball as head coach because we want him as an OC? It is like if the Patriots hired McDaniels as head coach because they want him. It's not silly. It's not silly. And if it was silly, no NFL teams would be doing it at all in the NFL. But I mean, you have who's calling plays right now?
For who?
Ben Johnson was calling plays. Who else is calling plays? Sean McVay, who just beat Ben Johnson, is calling plays. Mike McDonald in Seattle is calling defensive plays. And these are guys that are in the the NFC Championship game. Sean McVay and Mike McDonald.
Payton in our game.
Sean Payton was calling plays in our game. I mean, the reason look, here's the logic behind that. We've seen what it looks like when a guy we don't want to leave in Brian Daboll leaves and goes and becomes a head coach somewhere, and we got to figure out what we're doing at OC. It took us getting through one bad OC to find an all right OC in Joe Brady. And we're still looking for that next offensive mind that can take Josh to the next level. I don't want to have to deal with whoever we bring in as an OC under a defensive-minded or a special teams-minded coordinator, head coach rather. I don't want to see our OC leave in 2 or 3 years because he's done such a great job at getting Josh to play great. Not that Josh needs much to play great. He just needs better players around him, if I'm being honest, right? So much of what we saw in this Broncos game was him pressing. Why? Because he didn't trust the guys he was throwing to. On top of that, everybody forced him to not be comfortable throwing to the guys he's throwing to because he didn't have much time and reps throwing to him. Practice ain't the same. They don't run 2 a days no more. They don't, like, so much of the practice time that they used to have back in the day that these players don't have nowadays. Mm-hmm. So it ain't like you can just do it all in practice either. Oh, I don't need to throw to him that much in the game. We'll hit him in practice. We'll get that chemistry together in practice. No. Like, players got to do it off the books now. Mm-hmm. They gotta find reservations and you know what I mean to go to just to get that going in the offseason or get that going on the side. So you need the guy who's going to run the offense, which is the most important side of the ball when you have a franchise quarterback, to be the head coach so that you don't ever have to worry about that system being changed. That's why you do it. That's why all these head coaches have done it. So we would be having a different conversation if we were the Texans and DeMeco Ryans got fired, right? Because that team has been winning games with their defense alone. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to lose that defense, you say, okay, well, we got to bring another defensive guy in to keep that going, and he's just got to hire a better offensive coordinator, right? Because your mindset is the side of the ball that we're winning with right now, we got to keep that going.
Right. So
how do we do that? Right. And let's be real. We don't win games with our defense. We win it with Josh Allen having to come up with miracle plays with a bunch of B and C level guys around him. No disrespect to any of these guys, but how many of them are starting on other teams?
I can only name 2, honestly.
Right. And this is what he went to battle with in Denver. So if we know that, why are we harping so much on 4 turnovers? Look what he's got to play with. Who decided all that? Well, the 2 guys that were in charge that we're now learning. Oh, this is the other thing I found out too, that, breaking news. I know earlier this season I've talked about that the issues between Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane. And at that time, there weren't a lot of people that were willing to hear that. That was just kind of my theory based on what I was hearing, and also some of the other stuff that I heard about, the phone conversation I told you about between Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. Well, that's since been confirmed that there have been ongoing issues this season in particular between Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott.
Oh, sure.
And that is actually a big part of why Sean McDermott was shown the door.
Yeah, for sure. That's I don't say obvious. That makes perfect sense. And I've said a while ago, I saw there was a fracture. They were throwing each other under the bus. Brandon Beane wasn't talking. Sean McDermott saying this outright, and Sean McDermott could throw in his face. See, if we had Jamarcus Ingram, we would never had Dane freaking Jackson on the field. But what you do with Jamarcus Ingram? Where's my guy Darius Slay? What happened to him? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Oh, okay, you screwed that up. Fine. He could have did that. But I think right now it's funny listening to Radio Loud. McDermott and Beane will talk on Thursday, and I was listening, in tape delay. So I'm like, no, they won't. One will, but one won't. But at the same time, McDermott will mess around, have a job by Thursday. It'd be just ridiculous. What happened here?
I don't know. I'm trying to. What's going on? So Dan, I'm trying to hit this guest room in this.
You need me to come over there real quick?
Yeah, could you?
Yeah.
I think I just kicked 2 people out. I'm not sure. I just realized I had like 4 people waiting, but I got 2 in there right now, right?
You click one. Click that. It'll bring one in.
No. Where do I go?
They might have already left. Click it again. There's one.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't know who this is. All right. So I just clicked the unmute button, right?
Yeah, whenever you're ready to hear them.
Okay. All right, we got our first caller here. Welcome to the Post Podium Podcast. Who am I talking to?
It's still on mute, I think. It's not mute.
No. Unless they hung up. Hello?
You clicked that one time. Yeah, it's muted. It's muted. Okay.
Yeah, I don't hear anybody.
All right, try calling back again. Just hang up on them, and then they can come back into the room.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sitting here talking and I completely forgot to check back. Go ahead and call back if you're still watching. And we'll get you on. I promise.
All right, what was I talking about? It was a comment I was looking at, but I don't remember what it was now.
Let's do this. We're gonna keep this smaller box here. Off on the side. Bam. And where'd it go?
Let me try to catch up here. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Bosa's got. He's a void year next year. He's a free agent. UFA. He's against it. This is the best thing about Bosa. He's actually cost more on the cap next year than he did the year he's playing. He's 7.8, I think, against the cap in 2026. He was 5.3 against the cap in 2025. Which brings me to my point of the game. Now I'm watching. We got called, but I'm watching the game on Saturday. I'm thinking, we paid all this money to Bosa, but Epinesa is the best defensive lineman on the field for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts. That really hurts. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Let's see if we can get this right now. So this one's first in line, right? Okay. All right. This who was that? Yeah, we can hear you. What's up, man?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm. Okay.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Thanks. All right. So
Just repeat what he said because the chat couldn't hear it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something's going on.
Okay. Nico was asking us basically, do we think that Josh Allen had anything to do with or any input in the firing of Sean McDermott. Do we think that he was with it, was against it? Do we, and in a nutshell, Nico just wanted to know if Josh Allen, obviously we don't have the answer to this, but if Josh Allen said, I just want to win however we do this, whatever we got to do, just win. For me, I think I don't think Josh Allen had any input in the fire of McDermott. I don't honestly. It probably was for the best because I think Josh Allen is too loyal, and I think he would have fought for McDermott. Even still, he would have said it was on me. I don't want to be the reason why. I don't want to be the guy that gets that his head falls on my sword. So I don't think I honestly truly don't believe that Josh Allen had much to do with that at all. I think they told him before it hit the news press, but I don't think he was a determining factor at all.
Really quick to the guy that's calling in with video. I see you. I'll get to you in 1 second. If you want to call back, I'll get you on. But to answer this question, honestly, I do think I believe them when they say that they do talk to Josh about everything. Even if they weren't asking him what they should do, I think just kind of talking to him about what they were thinking and get his thoughts on it is still part of the process. You still want to do that with your franchise quarterback. And even if he does, say, well, I love Sean. I still believe in him. I still think he's a great coach. I think he can do the job. I'm not saying fire him at all. And whatever Josh says in that situation, I think as an owner, you take it into context and you include that in your thought process. But ultimately, we don't know if Josh was or wasn't saying things that would be perceived as being, loyal to Sean McDermott per se. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Josh could have said, well, it has been a little tough, lately with the offensive scheme and some of the things that, that I've been asked to do, and I've been doing my best. And that's no slight on Sean. I mean, he's been doing, such a great job, coaching us up and getting us ready. But I have heard from some of the guys that, he tends to get a little tense in games. I mean, again, like I said earlier in this show, that's been the knock on Sean McDermott since day one, is that he gets tight in big time games, and that rubs off on the team. Like as a head coach, your team is going to reflect a lot of what you emulate. Right. And so we've always had this great underdog feel to us, but what have we had other than that really emulates Sean, other than the brotherly love and the underdog mentality? You know what I'm saying? So all that's to say, I do think Josh had some input on that. Let's get to our next caller here. Let's unmute that, and let's see if we unmute that. Oh no, unmute. Okay. What's going on, man? How you doing? Can you hear us?
Anything?
I don't know.
I think they might have walked away from the phone because we can hear ourselves through his speaker.
Yeah.
Yep.
How you doing?
What's up, man? Okay. Yep.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
For sure.
I appreciate the calling. That's
hey,
right.
There we go.
Code 45.
All right, my man. Thank you for calling in.
See you later, brother. I'll talk to you later.
They're still having problems hearing on their end, so there's some issue with the communicating. We might have to figure it out for next time.
Okay. All right. So basically, what the caller was, I'm sorry y'all for the long latency, but what the caller was asking was about the catch that wasn't a catch. It was a catch. And he said his coach said it was a catch. He said it was a catch that happened too. Now this is where I'm going with the catch. Okay. Me personally, flame away. I don't think it was a catch. Now, this is the caveat. I don't. The reason why it was an interception was because the ball never hit the ground. It ended up in his. Yeah, that was Billy D.
You couldn't tell from the guns.
But people were likening it to the Cole Bishop play last year. Like, it wasn't even close. That wasn't even close to the Cole Bishop play because that was simultaneous possession. What we had yesterday was them calling something on the field, and they called an interception. Now, review, no review. It has to be overturned. It has to be inconclusive evidence overturned. Was the ball moving? Don't know. When did the defender had a ball? Don't know. He can't. The way you got to survive the ground. The way it popped out, he didn't rip it out of it. I mean, he had his hands on it, but as soon as he rolled over, the defender has the ball. So it popped out. So if had he not been there, Cooks might have been able to recorral it. But I think the ball was was moving or something. From my own perspective, I don't think if it was an incomplete pass, I wouldn't have batted an eye. I really wouldn't have.
Let's do this because I saved a bunch of clips on Twitter of this particular play. Right?
Is this our play or the?
Yeah, our play, the interception. So
see right there. Can they see? Not that one.
No.
Because that view you had.
So it's a bunch of photos that kind of show you. Let me bring this up so people can see.
Yeah, the view you had up there. That's my pain point right there.
Which this one?
No, it was up farther. You passed it a while ago. Go up. That one.
This one?
He doesn't have the ball there to me. So it's not going to touch the ground. That's not my point. But to me, he doesn't have the ball yet, and the defender's hand is pinning against his arm. So when he rolls over, is this a still or does this actually play? I don't think it plays.
That's a still. This was the one that I really like. I mean that kind of shows you right there. Like this. Let me see how this is looking. I'm not even showing people. This is ridiculous. Doing a terrible job today. All right, so this is the photo here. So Cooks is down. Cooks is down here, right? Back is on the ground. Now, in this picture right here, the moment the refs saw this, down by contact, both players have their hands on the ball automatically goes to the offensive player.
Well, that's the rule, but they usually are tangled. It pops out. As soon as he hits the ground, it pops out. That's my contention, and that's what the refs saw to me. It happened so fast, and when he hit the ground, the defender comes with the ball without wrestling it away or anything. It's in his hands. So they're not tussling. It's not a simultaneous possession at that point in time.
I'm trying to see if I can find the actual play itself because what I saw on the play was, and I'll just kind of demonstrate it a little bit really quick. When the catch came in, Cooks had the ball with one hand on top of it like this, and like this. He was holding the ball like this, basically. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in that setting, and I mean maybe we need to get Coach D to hop on real quick to kind of talk about this type of catch and the leverage or the pressure that's being put on the ball like this. But when the receiver has the ball like this and he's going down, you don't see the ball move, right?
I didn't see anything. That's the thing. I didn't see anything.
The reason you don't see the ball move is because he comes down on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch the play through, he comes down on his shoulder. The ball is still like this, right? Now, what allows the defender to get his hands into the ball is Cooks holding the ball like this.
Yeah, Michael Johnson said what I thought. He said when he goes on his back, he no longer has control, and McMillan snatched it up. For me, I think it was more inconclusive than anything. But really,
I'm gonna send you a link, Coach D.
Really, when you're talking about it, it's not as open and shut as when the ball goes down. They both held the ball and it's over. Usually, they don't pop away with the ball. Usually, they're wrestling with the ball the whole time. That's what simultaneous possession is. As soon as the refs couldn't see if he had the ball or if the wide receiver had the ball real time. I mean, we watched it 5, 6, 7 times, and we all have our own conclusions. Jeremy White said it best earlier. He said, now if the ball if they would have did it and the ball had popped out and went 10 yards downfield and landed on the ground, what would have happened? They would have ruled it incomplete. They never were going to rule that a Cooks catch. And for us looking the way it looked, yeah, of course it could have been. It was close, and that's why I'm not going to argue somebody that says it was a catch. I just think the defender I thought it was not a catch in the way people think it was. I mean, yeah, Marcellus Wiley says a catch. Richard Sherman said it was a catch. For me, I just thought it was a catch.
Said it was a catch.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. I didn't think so, but I'm not going to argue somebody that does.
All right.
So what makes you think that it wasn't a catch? Like as far as the rule book goes.
People are citing simultaneous possession.
Not even that, because what they were talking about, I think as the WGR was talking about, is the 3 steps to complete a catch, just completing a catch, whether it's in, on the boundary or whatever. It's first one is 2 feet down.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is what's the second one? I can't remember.
A knee, 2 feet, elbow,
something like that.
Yeah,
and then the third one is
you
you have to get like some football move or something like that.
Well, for me,
from what I heard was that he didn't do a football move. For Adams, they said that he did a football move by tucking it, and I thought that Cooks tucked it as well. So I was confused if that constitutes a football move or not.
If he would have tucked it, it would have been down by. If we could conclusively say he had the ball when his back hit the ground, which is the problem, which the refs didn't see it that way. They thought it was the ball was moving. It ended up in the defender's hands, and he was down by contact by Cook's touch. So what they had to review is when did he hit the ball? When did he have full possession? And when did the ball pop out? The whole problem is the ball popped out. That's the whole argument to this thing. If the ball wouldn't have popped out, if it wouldn't end up if you had to wrestle the ball away like that Josh Allen's fumble, where they were holding him up and they called it a fumble, but he had his hands on it and they wrestled it away.
Where was Cooks when the ball? Because I didn't see the ball pop out.
Where was Cooks?
I didn't see it come out until it was ripped out when they were rolling over.
I didn't see it rip. I saw both players' hands on the ball. As soon as the back hit the ground, the defender had the ball.
Okay, so you're not actually saying the ball popped out.
No, I'm saying had it popped out and went like 10 yards down, that would have been an incomplete pass. I would have thought
for sure. Okay,
yeah.
So I think we all agree it looks.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
They called it an interception on the field, so overturning it would have been impossible.
They didn't both have.
Well, they hadn't reviewed it. They because what the referee said was, we got word from New York. It's an interception. Let's just move on, right? And that's why Sean took the timeout to try and get an explanation and hopefully force them to slow the video down. But I think when you do slow the video down and you're able to see what happens, you can see that the ball doesn't move when his knee hits the ground. Right when the defender is still over the shoulder of Cooks holding on to the ball, and let's get Coach D in here to wrap with us on this one. Coach D, what's up? Can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you. Right.
All right, so we've been.
Can you see him?
I got to mute. Yes, I got to mute though. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, you got the show going?
Yeah. Let me mute y'all. Hold on.
Right.
Yeah.
This too.
Okay.
Oh, this is the other way.
StreamYard. This is through StreamYard.
Right,
So it should be fine.
Yep, we can hear you. All right, so we were talking about the catch, and from what it looked like to me, the ball did not move in Cook's hands when his knee hit the ground. At that point, in my mind, you're down by contact. You have control of the ball. That should be a catch.
Right. Yeah. I think the thing that you're right as far as that's concerned. But I think the thing that was in question wasn't the defensive back's hand on the inside of the ball?
Yeah, so he had one hand. So I was kind of trying to show the example. So Cooks had the ball like this, pretty much.
So
and the
his hand was kind of behind the ball. Yeah,
like inside Cooks' shoulder. But the second, in my mind, because here's the other part of this. I mean, you remember the divisional game from last season against the Chiefs when Cole Bishop went for the interception, and all Worthy did was stick his hands inside Cole Bishop's abdomen area and put his hands on the ball, and he ended up with the catch instead of us getting an interception.
Right. I think the confusion comes in, or the question comes in, as is the whole idea of surviving the ground. Right. I think that's where the question comes in. And when Cook hit the ground, I guess when his knee hit the ground, that was one thing. But when his back hit the ground, the ball popped up.
Okay.
In their mind, they consider that as not surviving the ground with the catch. So I mean, listen, I'm be honest. I'm completely confused about what's a catch, what's not a catch.
You're a wide receiver.
Like,
Your life is a lie.
I'm complete. Like we don't know. You know, one of the things that Dan brought out was they're comparing the Devontae Adams play to the Bills play.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that is kind of distinct from that play is like Devontae clearly had control of the ball without the defender's hand being in there initially.
Yeah.
Like his hand came in there after he had control. I think the question was the defender's hand was always on the ball, and when he hit the ground, you know, he came away with it. But again, like you said, like knee down, control should be a catch.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do something to clarify. Like you don't know what is and what isn't anymore. So I think if they would have called it a catch, you can't overturn it.
Right.
You can't overturn it.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It was you couldn't change the ruling on the field regardless of what they, because there was no
either way they would call it.
Yeah.
The one take that I can get on with that I've been hearing all day today from select few people is these rules analysts, these ex-refs that they're bringing in on the broadcasts, we can do without them. I mean, They make everything worse. They confuse everyone. They have bad takes. I mean, the reason why everyone was so upset is because Gene Steratore was trying to argue, I think it was Gene Steratore, right?
Probably.
Was trying to argue that he never had any possession at all. The ball was moving from the second it got to Cooks. And so then it confused everyone because everyone's like, we're looking at him holding the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I think this too. I think to me, as a receiver, right, one of the telltale signs to whether or not the play should have went in the Bills' favor.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Right. Was Cook's reaction.
Yep. He looked defeated.
Reaction.
Yep.
And then on top of that, when they interviewed him, what did he say? I haven't heard him say he was a catch yet.
Yeah. You won't.
I haven't heard him say I caught the ball yet.
No, it was too close. It really was too close.
So to me, that's a difference maker. And Mama, at the very least, jump up and be like, go through all the antics they go through when they get it first down. He didn't do none of that.
Yeah. I thought he was keeping the field actually for a second. He was the kind of slid. There was arm. I was like,
I know. Yeah, he looked like he was hurt or something.
Well, he was probably hurt because he knew what had just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, to me that kind of, I was kind of on the fence. I was going either way. I mean, when I first talked to you about it, Aaron, then I looked at it again. I'm like, man, come on. But then, I thought about it. You know what? Let's see how Cook reacted.
Yeah, I think that's you said it best. It's one, I was thinking the way he got up, he knew he wasn't protesting, nothing like that. Also, it was just when it's ruled an interception, there was nothing that they could say or show to prove that it wasn't an interception. And when he hit when his back hit the ground, that's when that ball moved, that defender right away. It wasn't. I mean, like everybody talks about, like I said, the Cole Bishop went. They both had the ball the whole time. They were fighting for the ball. And that's when the ball goes to the offense. So that rule doesn't apply here. This is a bang bang play. Who has the ball? And it was no fight. Whether it was his ball or not, like Coach D said, get up in that. Like you always want to sell it,
right?
Sell it regardless.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Why he didn't sell it, Keith? Why he didn't? I have no idea why he wouldn't sell it.
I have no idea.
Right? The other thing too is, and some of the viewing audience may notice, but whenever you go up and you come down and your back hits the ground as hard as his back hits the ground, the force from hitting that ground can cause the ball to bobble and bounce and move. And I think in that case, I think he realized it, and he realized it and was like, it's over,
Yeah.
I still think you got to get up and sell it though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Complain, do something.
Yeah.
Always.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's a great inside look at the player's mindset in that moment.
Yeah.
I mean that's true. That's
right.
true. You can't show. Oftentimes in those moments, your true emotion can be to a detriment when you have war like that. You gotta put on whatever face you need to put on, sell it to the rest, because that really realistically, and I kind of wanted to ask you about this too. That was such a big part of what I thought Sean Payton's game plan was, throwing all those deep balls at the end of the game. Like, we're going to sell this thing. We're going to put the refs in a position where we're either going to get the catch or we're going to get the pass interference call. Either way, we win.
Yeah. You know, surprisingly, they didn't do that with Keon instead of Cooks, but you know, they have jump ball guys. 14 Sutton is a great jump ball guy, but you know, you want to do that, especially in those times of the game. I thought it was interesting. You mentioned it earlier. Sean Payton said in his interview, after he picked up on what the Bills' second half game plan was, as far as pressuring them and blitzing, and they got the rhythm of when they were doing it. I mean, he was very specific in his, and I loved his interview. They caught the rhythm of how they were doing it, when they were doing it. Yeah. And he even said it was like 5-1 compared to the first half to the second half. They didn't immediately think about throwing the ball over the top right away. In his mind, we'd save those for the right moment. And that speaks to what you said about when you get into the mind of a real offensive coordinator who thinks through these processes, they don't panic, they don't get in a hurry. They methodically take their time and they wait for the right moments to call those plays. And he waited till the latter part of the fourth quarter to start going up top, because those are, as you say, 2 of the 3 possible scenarios can end up in their favor.
Yeah.
We either catch it, they get a pass interference, or I can't remember the other scenario, the other outcome you mentioned, but I think the play calling and the timing of the play calling and the anticipation of what the Bills were doing and bringing pressure all went into that play, and it proved. And I was telling you, what was my biggest concern?
Coaching.
Playing the Broncos, was they going to, it's night and day. The coordinator they faced in Jacksonville and the play caller they played against in Denver. Yeah. And I think that's what came back to really help the Broncos, but hurt the Bills in the end.
So really quick, while we still got you, do you think the event, or let me structure it this way? How much of this Denver game do you think affected Terry's decision to step away from Sean McDermott?
Well, you kind of asking you. So we know that there was some inside trouble. There was some rift. We know that, and we know that that played a bigger role in this decision than what happened on Sunday. I don't think what happened on Sunday didn't play a role. Everything is a convergence, right? It's not really one thing. But I think the more weightier decision-making determinants was the rift. Like, it's obvious. Like, and we know that there's a rift. It's just a divide between McDermott and Bean right now. And I believe they heard out McDermott's side and they heard out Bean's side. And you brought it out great that, from a business perspective, it was better to stay with Bean than to go with McDermott.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. I think Sunday, maybe because you brought out some of the coaching blunders that Sean brought out, that we feel like they had. And those did play a role. To Keith's point, players got to execute. Like, I don't care what you call players got to execute, but at the same time, it's my job as a coach to put those players in the best position to execute. And I don't think putting the third string cornerback on the island, putting the third string safety on an island, not trying to score points with 16 seconds left and no timeouts from your own 30-yard line. I just don't think you put players in that position to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
And, there's several other things that, we could say that, was questionable calls, and like, the rhythm, like there's a rhythm. I wish the fans can experience this, but when you're on the field there's a rhythm to the game, there's a feel, there's a flow to it. You can feel when they're coming. You feel it. And once an offensive coordinator gets a feel for what you're doing, a rhythm for what you're doing, it's easy. Like you said, they should have been doing more zone blitzing instead of all out blitzing. Yep. Like, change it up.
Yep.
Once you get a coordinator like Sean Payton, get a feel for what you're doing, it's easy.
Yeah. While we're on feeling, I wanted to ask you this too. As a player, when you're on that sideline, how how often or how much do players feel the what the coach is dealing with?
Man, I knew you was going there. You can feel it, man, get tight, man. You can feel it. You can feel it when they tight. Listen, you can feel it when they loose. I'll never forget. It was we were in Green Bay when I was in Miami. We was in Green Bay, and the game was coming down to the wire, and Coach Shula just had a calm about him. You just have a calm. It's like he just had a calm about him, and he was directing guys, telling guys what to do, and he was just calm. You just got a calm about you that you feel the energy. It comes out in how you address players. It comes out in when you're talking to the officials. You could just see it. You could feel it.
Yeah.
There's just this calm that a coach has that the players pick up on. Same thing with a quarterback. The quarterback in the huddle, there's a calm that he has. The one thing that can supersede the calm of the coach is the leader for each position group, offense and defense.
Okay.
But on the sideline, generally speaking, like you feeding off the energy of the coach, and that energy goes throughout the coaching staff. So the wide receiver coach is communicating the same energy to the wide receivers. If he feel the energy, the nervous energy, or the tightness, then it just trickles down. Unless you have that calming factor, like a Dan Marino, who was just like, it was the coolest thing, one of the coolest guys you want to meet. I'm talking about on and off the field.
Yeah.
So it's really it's contagious, man, and it's real. It's real. You could feel the tightness of the coach, and what that does over time. Players lose confidence. Players feel like, when they get tight, man, you can't trust the calls. You got to start questioning things. No, really, it trickles to what happens on the field. So all of that matters. And players with these new player surveys now, they get to say what they need to say.
That's
what
true.
They want to say, and that's one of the things that's come out. And unfortunately, it's a real thing.
Yeah. One last thing, and we'll let you go.
Yeah.
So just kind of thinking what you were saying through about how the players are affected, and I'm trying not to lose my train of thought here while forming a question. So bear with me. All right. Well, so this idea of, man, I'm losing the train of thought. Dog it. I guess I'm trying to lean into this thought process of, I guess, Josh Allen's. No, I don't want to go there. All right, let me put it like this. Brandon Beane's job before today, when it comes to roster construction. I told you about this earlier when I heard it. He's had 56 picks since 2017, only 2 of which have made the Pro Bowl. Right now, I realize the Pro Bowl is more voting. We've looked at the All-Pro numbers. The Bills have only had 1 All-Pro since 2017, which is Matt Milano. Now that's
this year?
Huh?
Before this year?
Before this year, yeah. Who made it? Cook,
Ray Davis.
Yeah. But Cook is second team.
Yeah, I don't know.
Milano was first team.
Ray Davis is first team.
Ray Davis is first team. Okay, first team special teams. Okay, so before this year, but Matt Milano's was the only one, right? And that's so the All Pros are voted on by players and coaches, right? Which is why I kind of value that a little bit higher than Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl fan vote, right?
Value to tug of war?
What? So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, as a player, if you were to be in that building and your coach gets fired and everything about Sean McDermott, he gets tight, this and that and the other thing, and you're like, okay, I get it. Maybe the message is getting a little stale, whatever it was. As a player, your thought process is, all right, coach is out. That sucks. But then you look around and you kind of realizing like, man, the squad that we got ain't really the best either. How come Brandon Beane get to keep his job? Is like how does that affect players in the building? Even though the most likely thought process is, Terry Pegula is doing this for business reasons. How does that come across to a player?
Well, I remember going through this when Don Shula's last year and Jimmy Johnson came in. And Don Shula was Don Shula. Like he was like, people don't know he had a father-son relationship. I mean, he used to call us his babies. That was like his nickname for us.
Oh wow.
And we were like his babies. Like he would address us as we went out on the field. He'd say, "Let's go, babies." Like that was his, like he really had a fatherly relationship with us. And so, there was some question of why I can't remember the GM name at the time, why he wasn't let go. It depends on the relationship that the players have with the coach, okay, or the GM. A lot of times, the level of connectedness they have. In this case, though, I think because there was a lot of missed opportunities from the general manager's perspective during this rift, there's a separation that occurred. Where it was a clear delineation between who's making decisions on players, who's responsible for going to acquire players, who's responsible for going to get guys in free agency. And Sean made it clear publicly, like if I had it my way, this is what I wanted. And I think once you draw that line, is clear, because before that, I think the line was kind of muddy.
Yeah.
But it was clear. Now players can look at it in a way and say, hey, that was his responsibility. He should have got that guy here. That was his responsibility. How did he drop the ball on that? Now that gives players a clear perspective on who was responsible for what. And in the Bills case, I think people are looking around saying, hey, like, why wasn't it B? It was his responsibility to go get guys and bring guys in here and get a cornerback, so we didn't have to put the third string guy in there, get a safety, go get a wide receiver. Like, what happened? And so we don't know yet. We still got some phone calls to make, but we'll find out what's the players' reaction to it. And we're waiting to hear back from some people on what the players' reaction to it is. And, a few of them have already questioned why wasn't being let go.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, most of what people have seen on social media from the players has been, why did we fire Sean? Being kind of upset about that move.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Did I say it wrong? It was why wasn't being fired, or why didn't we keep Sean? Did I say that backwards or something?
Yeah, because you said players were wondering why they didn't fire Beane, as opposed to what I said, which was players wondering why Sean was fired.
Yeah. That's what I mean. They would prefer Beane than Sean.
Got you.
Yeah. So that was the thought in.
Okay.
But we'll find it. It's gonna come out. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, for sure. And as soon as we find out, that will be exactly what we get on here and talk about.
Exactly. All right, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Keep it up.
Yep.
Right,
thank you very much for coming on. Thank you.
All right.
And real quick, Lot Rain, no, Brady's not going to Miami. They hired Jim Hafty, former Boston College head coach and Green Bay defensive coordinator. So Brady's not going there either.
Yep. And the Lions hired their offensive coordinator. What is the guy's name?
Is Mike McDaniels holding out for Buffalo?
I'm telling you, he might be.
Him and Dave all together? Man. Oh, super brained. Super brained.
It's something with an SP, man. Something with an SP. Let me see if I can find it. Who is this guy? Nope, that's Jeff Hafley.
It was Jordan Phillips saying it about McD, and he said he's only open to coming back to the Bills. Who does he think he is? Somebody knows Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott will welcome with open arms.
Yep. Cleveland Browns actually had their second interview with Jim Schwartz. So he's actually stepping up on that list there. Where is this Lions?
You're gonna love Walter's comment.
What does it say?
No. With Beane's new title, you had to add another B. He's Big Boss Bernard Beane. Yeah.
Big Boss Baller Beane.
Nope. Big Brandon Bernard Beane. That's who that is.
Let me see. Lions new OC.
Bieniemy's going back to the Chiefs.
Drew Petzing. Who?
Eric
Yes. Yep. They brought him back. He's back in KC. Drew Petzing is the new offensive coordinator for the Lions. So one less place for Mike McDaniel and Brian Daboll to go. I did say that I wasn't going to say this on the show. I was talking to Tommy before the show, and the reason why I think I've kind of stepped off of Mike McDaniel is been, I mean, it just, before I heard what I heard, he kind of seemed like a guy that might be a little bit of a mess, just internally.
Oh, he's a mess.
You know what I'm saying? But then you hear that he's getting high with players and stuff like that, and it's like, I don't think that would fly here in Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like,
when they see Josh Allen throw over 6,300 yards and 71 touchdowns, they be giving this man blow. He'll be sending him so much blow. We would be the new Miami.
They would lay it across the entire bench, and friggin' Mike McDaniel would be calling plays as he's snorting all the way down the bench.
They got him on camera. Yeah. All right, free, right? Okay. We're not on offense. Never mind. Josh, hold that one. Buffalo look like South Beach. Everybody walking around in Miami Vice sweaters and oh man, it'd be great. Mike McDaniel to Buffalo.
You just want to see the show. You don't even care. You don't even care how good the rest of the team is. You just want to see 67 points every game.
How bad could Daboll and McDaniel be if they don't kill each other? You want this one? No, I'll take the next one. You get this one. And McDaniel's like, touchdown. Told you.
Halfway through the third quarter, Mike McDaniel's
he's missing.
He's in a stupor, and Josh Allen's like, "Screw it, I'll call the plays.
He's like,
Let's
go, coach. We won."
Right. Latre said, "Not getting high with players." Yeah.
Oh, you could tell he's a mess. We win with the ball, and sometimes you don't need the ball. Whatever. What's that about? I don't know.
Right.
But you know what would fix that all up though?
What's that? If
he had a hangover reducing batch of that Ree's tea.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah. Yeah.
He needs some of that Ree's tea. Why? Because it is refreshing. It's delicious, but it also has a lot of healthy qualities that you need when you got extracurricular activities going on. It'll get your health back in no time. 4 ingredients. Count them 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients. All of them are anti-narcotic. I don't drink tea, but what can I tell you? It's a good drink there, and it keeps you can pass all drug tests with this tea too. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
Probably.
What you doing? Head over to get yourself some Ree's. I'm not going to say head over to the website. You can go anywhere you want. You probably find some Ree's there somewhere. So just head over there. Matter of fact, you tell us where you found the Ree's in the comments. Let us know. But what do I do? What do I do here? I tell you guys to hit the link in the description below and let them know that PPP sent you.
All right. Let's get to it. Hearing that, but if you are, we apologize. With that being said, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to watch us, even though the that national championship game is what? It's either on. Is it on? It's on in a minute. All right, well, we're about to get out of here so you can jump into the game. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you have not done so already, please give us a like, a subscribe. Those are free. You can also hit the bell and make sure you make that thing so that you can get notifications when we send notifications. Like, we will be back with you live on Friday at 5:30 p.m. Make sure you tune in for that. We're going to be trying to dive into the off-season talks. We're going to get into as much as we can about, all the what ifs and all that, because we love doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, right. This is the funnest part of the season, aside from being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I like Relax's comment. He said McDaniels and Schwartz. Think about the point differential.
I'm gonna piss Nate off here. I still think we can have that with Brian Daboll too. So there's that. But anyway, this has been the Post-Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. For Smitty on the ones and twos. I am your co-host Aramis,
and a better 40 keys into the show.
All right, we got him to smile, laugh, and have some chuckles. I love it. All right, let's let the man get out of here. Y'all have a great night. Enjoy the national championship. Peace.
Deuces.